2024 saw the largest electorate in the world. 96.88 crore registered voters elect a new government in India. More than 64 crore voters voted in the general elections that saw Narendra Modi government return to power for a historic third term. Jammu and Kashmir saw a record 58.34% voter turnout. Across the country, there were more than 2 crore young voters added to the electorate. Is it then fair to compare India, a vibrant democracy, proudly we say mother of democracies, to what's happening in countries like Bangladesh? Joining me on India First is Sanjay Jha, former spokesperson of the Congress party, joins us as an analyst. Shehzad Poonawala represents the Bharatiya Janata Party. Dr. Vikram Singh is former DGP of Uttar Pradesh for a perspective on whether India can actually go the Bangladesh way. But before that, I want to quickly cut across to India Today's Shiv Arur for more on this. Shiv, you heard what Salman Khurshid said, but is this a one-off or is there a wider pattern to these comments?
You know, Gaurav, Salman Khurshid, who's been a former union minister, senior leader of the Congress party, his words are pretty shocking but also not surprising. The kind of desperate, petty levels that domestic politics have descended to. The Congress, which has a very illustrious legacy of suspicion of the foreign hand, under Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, and even in some cases Manmohan Singh, always keeping one arm's distance from what international intents have been in India. For him to suggest that something like a Bangladesh could happen here, where the world knows the kind of international interventions and the deep state role that has been played in these implosions, not just in Bangladesh but in different countries, but to kind of indulge that and normalize that kind of talk is ridiculous beyond any measure. It's one thing for smaller level leaders like Sanjay Raut and others to say such things, but for a former union minister like Salman Khurshid to say it is ridiculous. But then there is a track record of this as well.
Okay, let me quickly bring in Sanjay Jha into this conversation. Sanjay Jha, Salman Khurshid is former Law Minister of India. He's former External Affairs Minister of India. Some would say that he weighs his words very carefully. What do you make of his comments about the situation in Bangladesh and the situation in India, sir?
Gaurav, thank you very much for inviting me to your program. I know Mr. Khurshid personally, haven't met him for a while, but I respect him as one of the most finest intellectuals, authors in Indian politics, which is a rarity, to be very honest. Here are my short observations on your question. Firstly, I think Mr. Modi's government is an extremely weak government, and I'll give you examples of that. Number one, when Mr. Muhammad Yunus, who's likely to be the acting interim head of Bangladesh, when he made a pretty explosive statement, he said, India should not be calling this an internal problem of Bangladesh. It is likely to spill over. You remember the words that he mentioned. The Indian government said nothing, absolutely nothing. That was the time when Narendra Modi's muscular, hyper macho government had to make a statement saying, we don't interfere in your problems. Don't comment on our internal dynamics. But this is basically, as I say, like one of those cowardly governments that will make a lot of fire and fury at home, but goes completely tight-lipped abroad. Point number two, and this is pretty important, that 1 year, 3 months after Manipur violence started, this is such a weak government that it still hasn't been able to crack its own internal security challenge. No answers, clueless. Point number three, it is rich of the BJP to talk about the opposition, Mr. Khurshid, because the truth is, if any party follows the British-inspired politics of divide and rule, it is the BJP. Now, what did Salman Khurshid really say, Gaurav? What he said is what is in the public domain, that there are certain disturbing similarities. He did not say that they will manifest in India with the kind of violence and hate that you've seen, which is
other Congress leaders did. Other Congress leaders did talk about, Bheed going into 7 Lok Kalyan Marg or words to that effect.
But I think the larger point that he was making is that you have suppressed fundamental rights, which is the truth. which is the truth. We all know how, they have gone after think tanks, they've gone after NGOs, they've gone after authors, journalists like yourself. They have basically muzzled dissent for the last 10 years. Hopefully they will change because they may not last for more than 6 months. Number two, unemployment, serious issue in India. High inflation cannot be ignored, especially food inflation where this government is concerned. Corruption, destruction of institutions, and harassing individuals. Arvind Kejriwal is in jail. Hemant Soren was in jail. So
Let
I
me
think
get
he was
Shehzad
making a
Poonawala to
larger,
respond. Sir,
he
you
was
made your
making a
point
symptomatic point.
uninterrupted. Shehzad Poonawala, why is the BJP so upset with the senior Congress leader's comments? Because the opposition says there is discontent that's simmering beneath the surface and perhaps could explode, maybe not exactly like Bangladesh, but some manifestation of that.
I think it will be in the form of election defeat of the BJP.
I heard Sanjay Jha out very, very patiently, and I hope he'll extend the same courtesy. Sanjay Jha made 3 points. Point 1 and point 2 was akin to you asking him a question on biology and him answering a question on physics. That was point 1 and point 2. But having said that, let me tell you what the discussion today is. That Salman Khurshid, whose niece or relative recently said about vote jihad, now the uncle professes satta jihad. They've gone from Jai Samvidhan to saying सड़कों पर न्याय, सड़कों से सत्ता. मोदी को बैलेट से नहीं हरा पाए तो अब बुलेट के सहारे. Apparently, those who say Jai Samvidhan have forgotten that the most important facet of our constitutionalism, Gaurav Sawant, is that there is a transfer of power that is peaceful, which takes place every 5 years. So even if you are discontent with the government, and no matter what Modi government does, Sanjay Jha will continue to remain discontent. He has to wait his turn for an election that takes place 5 years, and then he can ensure that the power is transferred to his party, which is not going to happen for a very long period of time. Having said that, Sanjay Jha, please tell me, how is it constitutionalism? Because you started justifying that, look, Salman Khurshid did not say this, Salman Khurshid did not say that. Well, Sajjan Verma, a 5-time MLA of Congress party, advocated violence when he said that जैसे वहां पर घर में घुस गए, यहाँ पर प्रधानमंत्री के आवास में घुस जाइए. Iltija Mufti has said that, is there a swimming pool in LKM? Just like she was hinting at the picture of Sri Lankan president's house where the people had taken over. So these are India Alliance netas. Sanjay Raut even justified such kind of action. Now I have 2 or 3 questions to ask. First of all, that if unemployment, corruption, these are the issues, the maximum unemployment, maximum mehengai and maximum corruption is taking place currently in Karnataka. You know the prices of water, petrol, diesel, milk, electricity. India Today every day covers these issues of Karnataka. Nabila Jamal does a great job of it. So are we advocating that the people of Karnataka should take to the streets and dislodge Mr. Siddaramaiah and Mr. Shivkumar? Maybe they should take over their houses. Is that what you are advocating? Secondly, this is not the first time in Modi Virod, Gaurav Sawant, the Congress party has descended into Desh Virod. Look at what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said in UK, कि India में internal हस्तक्षेप होना चाहिए, United States और United Kingdom का, that there should be foreign intervention. Kerosene छिड़क दिया है, आग लगाने की जरूरत है. This is not the first time that they have gone to this level, and therefore today the question is only this. Look at the pattern. One more thing that has taken place in Bangladesh, which you were talking about and Shivarur was talking about, was the attack on Hindus. This is also Salman Khurshid's way of perhaps inciting and provoking Islamist attacks on Hindus, because if you see the Congress party has been completely silent on that front. All those who said all eyes on Gaza, all eyes, just one line on that. All those who are saying all eyes on Rafah and Gaza have not been able to open their eyes on the violence on Hindus in Bangladesh. And therefore, I think that those who have said Hindutva is like ISIS and Boko Haram are now saying that this template of attack on Hindus should be replicated. It has happened in Kashmir. And that time, Mr. Sanjay Jha and his party were the ones in power, and they did not condemn it.
Let me take this to Dr. Vikram Singh, because this is extremely worrisome. Dr. Vikram Singh, we've seen Shaheen Bagh protests, we've seen farm law protests, we've seen protests around Rohit Vemula, but when you join the dots, and if we were to talk about discontent beneath the surface, as Salman Khurshid puts it, is there a situation that it could explode with people marching Bangladesh style, or what happened in Pakistan, attacking the Corps Commander's house, or in Sri Lanka? How do you look at all these developments and the statements being made by political leaders?
Gaurav ji and gentlemen, good evening. I'm absolutely incensed and aghast by the irresponsible statements of Mr. Salman Khurshid. As if the vote jihad wasn't enough, This is Midsummer Night's Dream, an extremely irresponsible and cavalier statement, and likely to foment social discontent. They have not covered themselves with glory earlier. You may recall the Salman Khurshid Sahab, hua to hua. I mean, this is the level of concern and respect he has for those hua to hua. What do you mean by hua to hua? I mean, they have not covered them, and seeking the help of outside external powers in matters. They have been absolutely frustrated by the fact that the electorate has dismissed them, and it is indeed wishful thinking, midsummer pipe dream. What can I say? And in fact, since they have not been able to come to power, and I think it's only a matter of time before they almost lose hope of getting power in any case. They should have patience. The power is given to those whom the people like, and they're voted into power. No point in going and asking for help
through the ballot,
outside.
not the bullet or the angry
Absolutely.
street, because India is a very vibrant democracy. Let's all at least respect that. Sanjay Jha, you heard other panelists. The argument is this is fear-mongering. It's demeaning Indian democracy, and you heard both the guests saying that there appears to be a pattern, whether it was a Congress leader who in Pakistan said, "Hame laiye, inhe hataiye," or what Rahul Gandhi has been accused of saying, seeking foreign intervention when he was in the UK, or words to that effect, sir?
Gaurav, since it's 2 against 1, I hope you'll just give me limited time to answer all the questions that people have raised.
Go on, sir.
First and foremost, when I'm asked a question on biology, I answer on biology because I'm biologically born. I'm not one of those divine, kind of creations of the universe, which is born in a non-biological way. Point number 2. Is the fake news that is spread by BJP and its cheerleaders in different forms and shapes, where they keep talking about Rahul Gandhi inciting Western powers, etc., to take interest in India. That is fake news. I am going to request the Congress party, if they are watching the program, which I'm sure they are, to kindly note this. This is a very dangerous, divisive, and diabolical game of the BJP, and they must nip it in the bud because they will say this in a very irresponsible fashion, day in and night out. Point number 3, Gaurav, the truth is anybody who follows foreign policy, I do, and I know you follow national security, so you and I will probably understand that. I think India's foreign policy has been a mammoth, monumental disaster. And what has happened in Bangladesh is proof that I hope your viewers understand. Indira Gandhi under the Congress helped the creation of Bangladesh.
Okay.
Today, look at the state of Bangladesh. They are bringing down the statues of Mujibur Rahman, the founder of Bangladesh. It's happened with Mr. Modi as a prime minister. Here is the danger. We have seen under Mr. Modi as the prime minister and various incompetent foreign ministers, including the current one, we have got surrounded by the Pakistan-China axis. And in Bangladesh, we may have just created a cleavage that is ripe for a very susceptible collapse if we are not careful.
Okay, very important point you make, Shehzad Poonawala. Very little time I have on the show. Quickly respond to the charges being leveled, especially on the fact that Rahul Gandhi never sought foreign power intervention in India or words to that effect, as Sanjay Jha puts it.
First of all, I completely agree that Mr. Sanjay Jha is indeed Sanjay, you have to now allow others to comment. You can't keep interrupting. I completely agree with my good friend that Sanjay Jha is indeed biological, but the only problem is that he's never logical, and therefore he's suspended both in status and in logic from the Congress party. I don't work on empty threats, and I always come with my facts equipped. Here is an India Today report. The India Today report quotes, and I'll play it out for you. Why isn't US taking action about talking about what's happening in India? Rahul Gandhi questions. This is an India Today report, and please hear it. He's speaking to Nicholas Burns.
Idea of freedom, the way it's encapsulated.
Okay, cameraman, you can zoom this. This is an India Today report.
Okay, go on.
But you got to defend that idea.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm running out of time. We do not have time to zoom right now. Our viewers will be able to see that. I have the last 30 seconds on the show.
10 seconds more. 10 seconds more. 10 seconds more. 10 seconds. 10 seconds more. 10 seconds more. The problem is that Sanjay Jha has again skipped answering the questions on biology and has gone to physics. The question is that are India's democratic institutions akin to Bangladesh's? NO. They are robust, vibrant. Is India's armed forces like the Bangladeshi or the Pakistani armed forces? The answers are armed forces have been incredibly apolitical. So you have undermined not Modi, but you've undermined our institutions. In Modi Virod, you can't get over the fact that you're doing Desh Virod. That is the problem. And Sanjay Jha, the clip is there. I'll tweet it after the show.
Fair enough. I've run out of time on this part of the show. My apologies to Dr. Vikram Singh. I haven't been able to come back to you for a second intervention, but we leave it to our viewers to decide whether there's merit in what Salman Khurshid says, or is there merit that India remains a very powerful democracy, a vibrant democracy, and as we very proudly say, the mother of democracies.